Focus fun back when we're 17. We don't know what we'll be, and it was all so free, cause it's all good till we grow complacent. Staying the same has made me impatient. I'm guilty and too tired of not being better, but oh how I wish I were. Don't tell me now, that's just the way it is. Recipients of unoriginal sin handed down from the years we've wasted playing this game. We all feel the same, we all lose this way again and again and again. We're guilty and too tired of not being better, but oh how we wish we were. Don't tell us now, that's just the way it is. Don't make it so easy. Try to find the light you know you wanna be. We'll all change the world someday. Just don't forget what we're fighting for. I caught your eyes the moment the light died. How can you feel right? You've never known glory. I know it's hard to not feel the blame. Don't play along, don't quote the old ways. We've gotta be honest with ourselves. Don't tell me not now, you'll never again. That's a lie that won't hold for too long. You can't let go. You're guilty and too tired of not being better, but oh how you wish you were. Don't tell me now, that's just the way it is. Don't make it so easy. Try to find the light you know you wanna be. We'll all change the world someday. Just don't forget what we're fighting for.
Hi everyone, so this is the first stream of my development of Ghost Blaster. Hi What Eep, how are you doing? Is the music too loud or is it just about right?
Don't make it so easy. Try to find the light you know you wanna be.
Right, so let's get a room loaded up. I'm going to be working on creating some rooms for the game tonight. Just showing my process of how I create them. I've got a sort of a temporary scene that I work in, and I create all my rooms in here, and then once they're done I then pull them into where they're needed in the game. A little bit loud, right, I'll turn that down. When a song starts, see if that's any better. Is that a better volume? Hi Blank Dev, how are you doing? Super Justin 5000 as well, cheers. Thanks all of you for popping in. So I'm not sat here by myself. Yeah, so I'm going to be just making a room. In the game there's all these, down the left hand side you can see all the different rooms that I need to make types of for the procedural generation to make. So tonight I'm going to be working on one that's just got a top and a right exit. So I'm planning on making something that sort of goes down here, across, down, and then back up here. Then once I've got the basic room shape in, I'll start adding some of the hazards in that I've created, although I still do need to make a few more. Oh cool, cheers What Heap. Right, so let's get started. I'll just mock out a bit of a layout first. Just use this one just to get the shape. 6 high. I have all my rooms 6 high because it just fits in with some of the hazards that I've made. Like the slime, they need a 6 tile height with it being a fixed animation. So if we go down here, and then we'll work across. You've not seen Godot before? I'm really liking it. I've only been using it for about 6 months now. Started off using it game jam back in October for Jamoween, which is a game jam that our local sort of indie game group do, with another one coming up in about 5 weeks if anyone fancies joining in with that. Opened it once, I did like 2 things, never tried it again since. It's definitely worth trying, and the fact that it's free and open source means that you're never going to get charged for any percentage of anything that you should happen to make. Obviously I know a lot of us are probably a long way off making anything at the moment, but you never know. Right, I think I'll have some sort of steps over this side. Just want to get the basic layout in place and then I'll start adding details in. The tile map's a little bit of a pain in Godot. It's not the best, but they are working on a load of new features on it at the moment, so I'm looking forward to them coming out. Tried it for 3D, but I'm curious about how it works on 2D, honestly. Yeah, I've had a very quick play about with 3D, but 3D is not something that I've done a lot of in any engine. Did a little bit in Unity. I made an asteroids clone which was using 3D, which is on itch, but it's a bit buggy. Right, so I'll start adding some floor tiles in. They're all very similar, my tiles, so I'll get a bit confused sometimes as to what's what. Got various floors just to add a bit of variety. All just subtly different. Add a few cracks in. You're really eager to see the lights placed in the scene. I think they look really good from seeing your devlogs. Yeah, I'll just get this little bit done and then I'll add some lights in and I'll sort of go through how those work. Just add a bit of ceiling in. Could probably do with making a few more tiles because I'm having to use some that I'm not totally happy with. Like this block at the end, I think I could probably make something better for there, but for now they'll do. Right. Yes, so let's get some of the background in and then switch to the background tile map. And then I'll get some lights in for you to have a look at. All the rooms I'm having to make them so I'm doing it so the bottom room always is able to get the player out of it, and the rooms above will always have sort of a ledge here or here that they can jump onto, just so it all joins in. So these are the tracks that I sort of pretend that this vertical platform's running in. Just need to move that over slightly. Good grid snap on. So I'll move that over there. And then these just stoppers at the top and bottom that when it hits them it turns backwards and goes the other way. Right, let's go back to the background tile map. This is one of the things that I don't like. I've got 5 random tiles for the background, but I have to manually put them in. Apparently in the version 4 of Godot there's going to be a thing where you can select the random tiles and it'll like flood fill placing them randomly. Hi Sticks, how's it going? Welcome to my first official live stream. Styx is organising the game jam that I was mentioning earlier, so I'll post a link in the group, but if anyone wants to join in, it's the 2nd to the 10th of April. It's the 3rd one we've run. I'm finding it hard to actually work and talk at the same time. I'm sure it'll come in time. Tiled, I did play about with it a long time ago, but I've never really used it past maybe half an hour of messing about. Is it good? Oh, there's an import tool. Oh, maybe I will have a look. The only sort of tile map program utilities I've used is Tile Setter. Sort of automatically generates various stuff. We'll add a couple of windows in for a little bit of variation for when I demonstrate the lights. I've got these random bottom tiles that just add a bit of variation to where the floor meets the walls. Right. I used to use it way back with Cocos 2D. Anybody remember that one? Never used it, but have they not just brought a new version of Cocos out that does 3D as well now? Was I reading? I'm sure I watched a video. I think it was Cocos anyway. I haven't used it for a while since I've been working with 3D. Last time I checked it had come a long way from its 2015 version. Yeah, I think that's probably around the time I looked at it. I think it was reasonably new when I looked at it. Hey Zanderwood, how are you doing? Thanks for coming on. Feeling quite honoured. I've got more viewers than I thought I'd have on my first stream. Right, let's bring a light in, then what you can see how they work. So these wall lights, when you bring them in, they sort of react with things like the window, and they've all got normal maps with them. So the background tile map, go in the tile set. If I click on, this is another thing that I don't like about the tile map at the moment. When you're selecting tiles, you have to select them all individually, and even though the normal map's identical, matches up with the tile map, you have to select each tile and then drag the normal map in. But the normal map basically fakes the 3D and gives this quite nice effect really. And the other lights that I've been using are Moonlight. Where are they? There. Got one of those in the scene somewhere. That's not it, that's a player respawn zone that I've dragged in, not a light at all. I looked at Cocos 2D a few years back. I know a games company that still uses it for a few of their projects. Which games company is that, Styx? So yeah, this is the other light I've been using, Moonlight. It's just needs a bit of work, but it gives quite a nice effect of moonlight coming in through the window. Again, you can see it on the floors and on these tiles on the wall. I'll show you the normal maps that they use. load it up. Yeah, so this is the normal map that I've created for the background. Most of it's generated using Lighter. It's a program on itch, which sort of takes the pixel art and makes a normal map based on it. Some like these I drew by hand, which I've got like a guide image that shows you where to put these stuff. Nice music, yep. Cheers, Xander. Like a bit of rock. And Pretzels rocks as the first free sort of music thing I found. I know Styx has uses it on his stream sometimes. But yeah, I do like Godot, how you can like just preview the scene that you're working in. So if I drag my player up, I can keep playtesting it as I'm going along. So just drop that in and you can just play the scene. Sort of get an instant feel of whether you can make certain jumps if you've made them. It will make that jump, I know that, but for some reason I mistimed it. What band is it? This is The Path by Miracle of Sound. So it's just Pretzel Rocks, it's just a load of YouTube safe music that you can use for streaming. The normal map's really cool. Yeah, I've used it once before in a 2D game in Unity, and it worked really well there. I made models in Blender and exported them just flat with no shading or anything, and then exported normal maps from Blender, and then lit the scene and made a shoot 'em up for when I was at college. I need another platform down this side, so I should duplicate that and then drag that over here. And these stoppers, I'll need some more of those, so I'll duplicate a couple of those. Move that light out of the way for now, and then duplicate that. Down here. Can you do mesh warping in Godot? Styx as a Construct fan like yourself, Xander, would. So he's just trolling me a bit there, I think, with the fact that there's no mesh warping in Godot and there is now in Construct. Yeah, those maps look good. I'm liking the look of this editor though. Yeah, it's a really nice sort of clean editor. And it's a really good system with the nodes. The whole game is just, everything is made up of these nodes. And you just stack them on top of one another. So like if you have like the ceiling slime, if I load that, that's a scene in its own, with a load of nodes underneath, and you just drag those into the level and then they just all work. Hi Josh, how are you doing? You ain't got no sound. Sound alright for everybody else? Looks like it's you, Josh. Yeah, that was part of a recent update. Yeah, it's tempting me to go back to have a look at Construct, and I may use it in the Indie Game Squad Jam that's coming up in April. Right, let's add a bit more variety into this. Some of my tiles look really similar, but like that one there's an end, and then these are platforms, but you can just tell there's a slight indentation on the bottom of them. I keep placing the wrong ones. So I'll make a corridor here for player to go down. And stick one of those at the bottom. Add some of these shading tiles. Just swap a couple out just so there's a little bit of variety with the alternate one. Have sound. Oh, that's good. You can listen to my Yorkshire voice. I'm loving the mesh wrap stuff, Sandalwood. It's going to make the level building a lot nicer. Yeah, that demo that I sent you earlier, Sticks, that looked really good, where the demo was on each. Let's see if I can find it, because it looked really cool. One second. Probably won't be able to find it now. It was like as if it was a Space Invaders going on the top and then fired a missile down into the bottom, and when it hit a platform they all wobbled. It looked really cool. Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. Oh, there we go, found it. Yeah, so with this you sort of fire and it gives this lovely ripple effect. I thought that could be pretty cool for a game. Looks probably a little bit too much, but I really thought that looked cool. Bracky's Jam started Sunday, working on a wee word game. Oh, cool. In Unity, is that, Josh? Is that a warm-up for Game Jam 192 episode 2 at Josh Henderson? Oh yeah, you've got to take part again, Josh, and give it full effort this time. Because that you came up with last time in such a short time were brilliant. Rich, you, me and Mike Joe need to put a date on the diary for our next collab, that type of game, thinking of making, so I can get some ideas on the pixel art. Is that the one, Sandalwood, where one of us was doing coding, one art and one music? Because if so, I'm open to whatever type of game you fancy. I'll make whatever. Josh, it's the game I'm going to reskin for that. Good idea, just go for it, just make it and then polish it. Got it, Discord, yeah. Okay, got it. Now I've actually picked up Godot. Oh, have you? Are you liking it so far? Yep, oh great, yeah. The only time that I'm not free, Xanderwood, for the challenge is the 2nd to the 10th of April, but pretty much any other time I'm more than happy to hook up and get that sorted. Oh brilliant, yeah. Yeah, just do whatever sprites, whatever you fancy drawing, and we'll make it into a game and take it from there. Right, let's add some more walls down here. Because I've not made brilliant sprites for the corners, I keep forgetting which I use for which, so I'll have to check what I've used previously. Do need to make some better corner pieces. I'm thinking of kicking off soon, should be before then. Yeah, that's fine. No, I've not barely typed that without spewing just then. Fair enough. So you're sticking with Unity? Some more fade, that's the wrong one. That one. Let's move that trigger point down because that's too high. Might be able to jump on my platform if I leave it there. Right, now the background tiles. Let's get my fake groove popping there. Then run that up there. And then we'll slot this platform in there so it looks like it's going to run down that groove. Hey, got to get some stuff done. Be right back though. Yeah, no problem. What? Thanks for popping in. I'll probably be streaming for another hour. So if I see you, I'll see you. Right. Stop that one there. Change this trigger down a bit and then stop the platform when it gets to about this height. Quick test that check it's all working at the moment. Just check I can jump onto that now for some reason. Come on, platform, come back down. Here we go. Nope, must have my stopper at the wrong point. Sure, I've used it at that height previous levels and rooms and it's worked fine. Left, right, top. No, it does need to be on the floor. Yeah, so each of these rooms gets spawned by the procedural generation algorithm. It sort of random walks through a grid and then assigns all the rooms based on what's next to them. And then once it's got a path from start to finish through the level, it then fills all the other rooms in with rooms that fit. Hi, Euladamas. It's a Metroidvania. So, I suppose you could call it that. It's more just a run and gun sort of procedurally generated shooter. It's got to be coming out on mobile when I eventually finish it. Right, add a bit more background scenery. This is a bit I really don't like. It's a pain having to randomly put all these different ones. Was tempted just to not even do this and wait until the next version comes out when it'll flood fill it with random tiles, but who knows when that'll be. Very nice. Oh, cheers. Thanks for that. Yeah, I've been working on it quite a while now, so it's starting to come together. Right, let's get some steps going up this way, and once I've got this done, I'll import a few of the hazards and things like that. want to try and get this room finished tonight on stream. Solid tiles. Add the edges to the steps. I'm sure my character can jump up too, so I'll probably make them too high, but I'll just double check that. Oops, presume that's not a solid tile there. Add a few floor tiles in. Wall tiles so I don't walk through. And another one there. Right. Yeah, I thought it went up too, so I'll make these steps so they're too high. And my step tile. Yeah, I'll probably have to do 1-1 because I need all the doors, they all connect the different rooms exactly, so I need to make sure that there's no like lips between levels that'll cause problems. So we'll just have a single step height there as well. You Ladamas, do you do game dev? That's coming together nicely now. I can just about navigate this level now. Got some ceiling tiles in here. I'm thinking with this level that I may put one of the secret hidden rooms up in this area here. Got to try and have them in most of the games rooms so that there's always something to explore. I'm just learning now, but I'm going to get started when I have time. Oh great, yeah. It's definitely worth learning, it's good fun. Have you any particular game engine that you're thinking of using? What sort of game are you thinking of making for Game Jam 192, or are you going to wait for the theme? Well, you know me, Sticks. It's going to be a retro-based game, isn't it? I have an idea. I mentioned to you that the next big game that I'm thinking of making, the space mining one, which was got to be a load of mini games. I'm thinking if I can shoehorn making one of the mini games into the Game Jam, then that's what I'll probably try and do. But if the theme doesn't fit at all, then I'll probably swap and just do whatever fits. Wanting to try and get some of the hanging banners in this level, just in this area, so that's why I'm trying to make the ceiling a little bit higher. Probably bring them in a minute and just check that they actually will work. I want to do something wordy, puzzly. Oh god, he's making an open world space miner simulator. Yeah, wordy puzzly games, I think they're always pretty cool in game jams. So yeah, that'd be interesting to see. Yeah, the space game I'm thinking of, it's going to be like a resource gathering mining game, but the mining mechanics will all be based on like old retro arcade games. So I'm thinking you'll maybe start off just in the middle of space in a little spaceship, and you have to sort of blast asteroid style and collect the ores that way, and then upgrade to be able to extract them with lasers and upgrade your ships and go on to other types of mechanics. I've only got the sort of early part of the game sort of idea fleshed out, not done much more thinking. I've been looking at the Godot and GD develop engines. What do you recommend? Well, I'm using Godot. Have you any experience programming or making games in the past, or is it completely new to you? But the word puzzle game always seems to go down well. Yeah, they do. There's been some really cool ones. I liked Dunny's game that he made for the Murray Game Jam, where you type the words and when someone wasn't looking. That one really worked well. I like the one you did with Ian, Josh Henderson. Was it Fill Your Pile? Stuff Your Pile. That was a really good game, that. Needs a spiritual successor, aye. Yeah, if you could stuff Ian's pile, shut him up, that'd be great. Right, just going to import a banner into this scene just to check it fits where I'm wanting it to. Yeah, hazards. Not used them for a while, so I can't remember where I've put them. I'm going blind. Maybe I won't be. Somewhere in the scene. Let's find a room that's got them in and see if I can work out where I've put them. The LR rooms, I think we've got them in. What did I call them? Curtain scenery. There we go, curtain scenery scene. So I need to add some of those into, don't save that, into the room. So with Godot, I was explaining about the nodes, you just instance then the scene into this scene. And it just comes in then. All the functionality comes in with it, which makes it really modular. So what this scenery item does, it's just a curtain that when you go past it, it's got a lovely little animation, which maybe Sticks sort of vaguely recognises, seeing as I nicked it off him. Aye, the Good Bad Word Retro TV one. Yeah, that's the one. That was really good. I'm new to it all, just to understand the basics. I'd definitely recommend Godot. It's free. There's quite a good community and there's quite a lot of tutorials. But also, I started off, as did Sticks and Xanderwood in chat. They've used Construct Free, which I don't know whether you've looked at, but it's a visual sort of scripting coding language. It's not actual code, but it gets you really into the logic of how games work, and then you can transfer those skills pretty much to any game engine after. So that's well worth looking at. And then there's also like the heavyweights like Unity and Unreal. Unity I've never sort of clicked with, but you know, Josh in the chat, he uses Unity and likes it. So I don't think there's a bad choice. I think it's just a case of choosing one and making a start. Anybody know why my screen to world space conversion is like back to front? No, Josh. Inspired by the way you say stole something at Frozen Well. I suppose it wasn't stolen, it was more donated. We'll call it donated. I'm thinking I may even draw in these areas. I've got these small windows, but maybe some larger windows with maybe stained glass. And then I can maybe add a nice lighting effect, like the moonlight's coming in here, but coming in with various colours. I think that probably would work well. So I may do that on stream. Maybe not tonight, but later in the week, or if anyone's interested in watching me do a bit of pixel art. I think Josh, you mentioned that you wouldn't mind doing. Hey Toy, cheers for popping in. The comedy here won't be as high as your videos, I'm afraid, but right, let's get back to filling in some of this background. I have to say I'm really chuffed that so many of you popped in. I really did expect to be streaming to maybe 1-2 people at the most, so yeah, GD Develop is a no-code engine as well, but I'm not scared of the code, and it's similar to Python, it seems. Yeah, Godot, it's GD script is based very similar to Python, so it is very easy to pick up. Would love to see that, man. Yeah, well, I'm thinking of streaming on Thursday night as well, so I may do that then. Have you plans to stream again, Josh? Or enjoying your streams, but unless I've just missed them over the last week or so. Yeah, because there's a couple of pixel art bits that I've got that I'm wanting to add in. I'm wanting to add in the secret rooms that I'm adding into the game. I'm wanting to have like a treasure chest in there, so I need to draw a treasure chest and then try and get that closed and then open, and go have like coins firing out of that, and maybe having it bounce up with a bit of animation, stretching it and squishing it a bit to make it dynamic. So it's something I could do on stream maybe as well. I like your layout. Oh, cheers, Tide. It's just sort of basic for now, but I'm hoping to maybe add stream avatars into it as well. I know Styx uses that, and quite a few other game devs that I've seen on Twitch. Just randomly mixing that up. Right, I need to put these colours behind these bricks because there's just a little gap on the edge where black shows through if I don't put a grey background behind it. Actually, I'm going to move this over a bit. And there's no gap down the side, so the player isn't like jumping off into the unknown. So that does annoy me in a lot of platform games where you can't see where you got to jump, so I think if you want them on something, then keep them on it if possible. I'm going blind, I can't find the tiles I'm looking for. That's because it's a background tile, that's why. I think down here I'll probably bring dripping slime in for the player to avoid. It's one of the hazards that I've got ready at the moment, but I do need to make a lot more. All the levels have got to be very samey. I'm hoping to have getting on for double figures of each room design when the game's finally finished. I think I'll maybe launch it in maybe an alpha state with, once I get to sort of maybe 5 or 6 of each type of room. Right, let's look at chat. Where have I got to? Nye's been slacking. I wait until my new PC's built though, streaming wets flow with my current rig. Well, I'm quite surprised that I'm currently streaming on my son's old computer because it's in his room where I can get some privacy to do a streaming, and I think it's got a FX 570 graphics card and I think maybe an i3 or something Intel processor, and it's only got about 8 gig of RAM, so it's nothing powerful, but it seems to be doing alright. And Godot's quite good, that it's such a lightweight game engine that it really doesn't take up much resources. I don't think I'd be able to run Unity on it. I was just dipping my toes, to be honest. It was really good though. That Captain Carrot 3D model you did was amazing. I set up stream avatars yesterday. Oh, did you? Is it easy enough to set up, Toad? The streams were good, looking forward to getting back on, Josh. Yep, second that. You're streaming on your Twitch, Toad. Your Toad's on Twitch at the moment. Attention to details, very good. Oh, thanks. Thanks for that. I do try. I'm getting better at it. I used to be quite happy with just leaving stuff. If it worked and was done, it was done, but I'm trying to do things a little bit more detailed now. Twitch, but might give YouTube a go. Cheers, Sticks, I didn't do it. Yeah. Just found you love the comic book theme. Yeah, it's a really good theme that Toad's got going on his stream. Gets a bit of humour in his videos as well, which makes me smile. Gets kind of addictive quite quickly. Yeah, I can see him getting very addictive. Right, so let's put some tiles down the side. Obviously I'm not minding this background music that it's playing, it's quite good, this Pretzel Rocks. Right, add some, fill these gaps in. Probably flood fill that lot, 'cause I think it should all be, yeah. That's quicker than doing it by hand. Right. We will now bring in the slime that I created. So, instance another scene. Slime drip. Again, it just brings a copy of that scene in, and I can drag that wherever I want it. I think maybe down here for that. Put it in position. I have a lot of pretty heavy programs I need to cycle between, which slows my PC down. I suppose the 3D stuff you do, it's a lot more intensive than 2D pixel art. Unity can have like a 12-minute boot up to it, it's just frustrating when there's people watching. Yeah, that's one of the things I don't like about Unity, just how much stuff it loads, and a lot of it I don't need doing 2D stuff, so it seems a bit overkill, which is why I always like Construct, and now fall in love with Godot. Right, let's add an enemy in. I've only got 2 enemies at the moment, so it's just I need to work on adding a lot more enemies. What's that group up? Need to organise it a bit, so I'll just add a node to store the enemies in. Node 2D, it's just your basic 2D node, so it sort of has a position and that's about it. So as a child of that, I'll bring the ghost enemy in that I've created. It's just really good how you create the scenes and then you can just drag them in to all the other ones. So that's just a very basic enemy. All that does is go backwards and forwards. So, show that working. So I've now got the enemy in. Kills and falls apart. Yeah, this bit could be annoying. I don't like it where you stood on platforms for a long time, so I might have to change that. But this slime, it's all done using the animation player. It's just one animation, and then the hitboxes I animate as well. Which I can show how that works. Open that scene. Yeah, it's basically just got an animation player, and in Godot with the animation player you can animate absolutely anything from the actual sprites themselves to the scale, the positions, transforms, things like that. So it's got the animation of the slime, which sort of just has all the drips down, but then the area 2Ds, which are the things that detect the collisions, they also animate the position of those to coincide with these. And then it also, you can add an animation that trigger functions. So these 2 points, when the slime drips and hits the floor, it then plays a dripping sound effect that you can maybe slightly hear in the background over this rock music. Right, so let's duplicate a couple of these. Still need to add normal maps to these. These curtains don't have any effect. The lights don't have any effect on the curtains, so. Add a few more lights to the scene. See, when I move the light close to them, it just lights them up. It doesn't. There's no texture there, so. Let's have a look at chat. I can be, if you're quite a bit into a project and have a lot of stuff going on, it gets bogged down. Yeah. Like I say, unlike you with your 3D, the 2D stuff itself doesn't add a great deal to Unity. It's just Unity itself. It's such a big download. Don't know what is it now these days, Unity? How much space does it need? I know Godot's 35 gig, that's it. Unless you want to use C# in it, and then it's about double that. But next time, use the task manager to find what is bogging down, and you might just upgrade that part. Josh Henderson. Cheers, dude, but I know what the problem is. Purpose building a new rig as we speak. My RAM kit came yesterday, got an RGB upgrade for free. Oh, nice. I got a new hard drive for my PC last week. Got an M2, which is lightning fast now at booting up, so I'm really chuffed I got that. Put backgrounds to these. Stop that game running in the background because that dripping's annoying me. Yeah, I think Unity Hub was only just starting when I sort of properly used Unity last. Is that just like you install which one you want and load which version you want from there? More lights. Add a bit more scenery, and I've got some shields that I created which I'll add in. This shield, see all these different designs up here, it randomly picks one when the game runs. So it's got 3, 6, 8 different designs. They all use the same normal map for them, and they just sort of catch a bit of light on the edge with the normal map. Just adds a bit of variety. I've got to make a few things like this. There'll be swords and axes and pikes and things like that. Finding a GPU in this market's the issue now. Yeah, I know I went on a couple of websites the other week looking at them, and I think there was maybe one really low end in stock, and that was it. GPU will definitely be the hold up. Yep. Thinking I could go ahead and put it together with my old one while I wait though. Yeah, I think you probably have to do, unless you, because even the ones that you can get are way overpriced at the moment. Adding the normal map for lighting's a great idea. Yeah, it really works well. I use a tool, I'll show it you, called Lighter, which it generates the normal maps for you. Just sort of load your texture in. So Let's find one. Yeah, so you load your sprite in and then it automatically generates the height map, and you can sort of change various settings. It sort of changes the normal map that you get out of it. It's not exact because it depends how good the shading is on the actual sprite. This is quite good with it being few colours, and I've sort of put the highlights where signify edges and shadows, so it picks it up quite well. I've tried on some and it can come out quite blurry, which is why I've hand drawn a few. What GPU are you going for? Got a 3080 in my parts list, subject to change though. I went for the 2060 Super and it's been excellent so far. You've all got way more money than me. I'm a tight Yorkshireman, so I won't be spending that much on my next graphics card. Position a couple of these shields in the scene. Just trying to add as much variety as I can into the scene with them being reused and making things random in it. It's coming along, nearly there. I think I am going to make the secret room here that people can discover. Right. Maybe add a couple of windows in to the background. Here. And I'll need to add a light to that, the fake moonlight light that I'm using. Duplicate that and drag that down. Just gives it a little subtle bit of moonlight coming in through the window. Getting quite close to that for now, being how I want it to look. May add in, I've got another enemy that detects the player and then just starts running in his direction with a bomb, which I may, depending what I do with the scenery, I may add a platform in for it to run off. Right, so the other things I need to add to the room is respawn zones for the player, so if the player dies, they respawn somewhere safe. So we've got a ghost there, so I'm going to make it so there's a safe area for the player to respawn here. So to do that, I will import a barrel into the scene, and then that'll stop the ghost getting to that point. If I pop that there, then the ghost won't be able to get over to this respawn zone. Need to pop it somewhere. The way the system works, whenever the player goes through this, it stores that position as where the player respawns when he dies. So I need to make it somewhere where the player will actually always pass through it. If he dies, he dies. Yeah, the way that initially it was going to be one kill and you were dead, game over, but I think it's going to be, there'll be a health bar, and depending what you get killed on, you either just lose part of the health bar, or you respawn in a safe zone. So if you like fall in a slime pit, you'll respawn in a safe zone. If you hit a ghost, maybe the ghost will have a knockback, and you'll go back just to give you that second and lose just a bit of health. Still got to work out exactly how that's going to work though. Right. Then I'll add another one of these respawn zones where the player enters. And I think maybe duplicate the ghost and add a couple down here. Duplicate that. That's probably enough lights in the scene. Maybe add another window up here. And again duplicate the moonlight. So yeah, that's pretty much that room done. So let's just check. Let's move that down a bit so that we can actually jump onto the platform when it comes down. Now let's check that we can actually navigate the entire level. No, the elevator platform, no, that won't be an issue. It goes straight through it, so I'll demonstrate now. If I die, it respawns just there, no problem. Let's check I can jump onto this now. Yeah, I can jump on that. There's a slight error with the jumping effect, which I need to fix, which started appearing on moving platforms. I need to give it some velocity so it keeps moving up. Right, so let's check we can go down here. Now that's something I don't want. I don't want the ghost to be able to fall down. The ghost's got a detector that when it gets to the edge of the platform it turns round, but I presume it got there at the same time the platform got there and then got on the platform, so I don't really want that to happen. So for now, for want of a better solution, I'll just add a barrel towards the end. I'll probably think of some other solution for that. Let's have another go. I like creating the scenes sort of separate, and then you can just play through them and check that for things like that they actually work. It's a bit of a pain that you have to, that's coming up, but that'll be completely random. It's only because I'm appearing on this level at a set point. Kill the ghost. Yeah, the one thing I'm not happy with, these curtains, obviously they have the animation when you go near them, but if we're just running then we're not triggering that, so I shall move those down. So that the player actually has to make contact with them. This is a collider, this sort of greeny area on them. So as long as I make that higher than one cell, then the player will always come into contact with us. Just check that works. That's not a bug, it's just I never went into a respawn area, so automatically when it starts it's at 0, 0 the respawn, so it's just when I've died it's respawned it up here, and that's why I've fallen down there. If I try it again and if I ended up dying, then I'll now respawn back there. Yeah, that's working fine. Looks to have missed a tile behind one of these. Background, yeah. Right, so that's another room made for the game. So what I do now, I will add that to the scene that is actually going to need it, which it's a top right room, so I'll open the top right scene, and then I will merge from another scene, so I'll find that builder scene that I've just been working on. Which one was it I was working on? That's this room 1. So I should merge it in. Yep. So that's now merged that in there. The way the algorithm works, when it's chosen that it's a top right room, it'll then spawn this, and it's passed in an index number based on how many different scenes I've got, and then it keeps the one that's got the index for and deletes all the others. I think this one that was here, yeah, that was just a placeholder. You couldn't get back up, so I'm going to delete that one. Change that to 0, and then now when the algorithm runs for creating the game, that'll spawn that room. That's really what I want to get done tonight, so I think I'll probably... Oh, hi Emma, you alright? I'll probably call that a night now. I'm happy with how that's gone. Thanks everyone for joining me, it's been good. And hopefully I should be streaming again, probably roughly the same time on Thursday night, when I'll probably do a bit of pixel art, make some more scenery and maybe an enemy for the game, and take it from there. Stixie Corn. She's even giving you grief in my chat, Stix. Thanks a lot, Josh. Cheers. Cheers, Toad. No problem, you'll add them, and if you want to pop by any other time, just if you want to subscribe, you'll get a notification then when I go live. Right, I'll catch you all later.